Assassin's Creed Shadows was supposed to be Ubisoft's return to dominance, a highly anticipated title set in feudal Japan, a setting fans had been begging for. Marketing was in overdrive, trailers were everywhere, and Ubisoft hyped it as their biggest release in years. But when the company dropped its annual financial report, something was missing. Despite all the noise and positive PR surrounding Shadows, Ubisoft didn't reveal a single sales number. No units sold. No revenue from the title. Nothing. And in an industry where publishers love to flex even moderate success, that silence is deafening. So what really happened with Assassin's Creed Shadows? Why did Ubisoft avoid talking about actual sales? And how bad were the losses they tried to gloss over? We're going deep into the numbers, and the red flags are everywhere. Let's break down Ubisoft's financial crisis, the suspicious silence around Assassin's Creed Shadows, and what it means for the future of one of gaming's most iconic franchises. Ubisoft's missing numbers, what they're not saying. Assassin's Creed Shadows launched with fanfare. Ubisoft claimed the game was a success, that it brought in millions of players, and that fan reception was strong. Their CEO, Yves Guillemot, even said it reaffirmed the power of the brand. But despite all this supposed praise, Ubisoft didn't release any sales figures. And that's a huge red flag. In the gaming industry, companies brag about good sales. Even moderate hits get press releases and earnings call highlights. When Assassin's Creed Valhalla launched, Ubisoft reported over $1 billion in lifetime revenue. They proudly stated it was one of their best-selling games ever. But with Shadows, radio silence. Instead of revealing how many copies were sold, Ubisoft kept repeating vague statements like millions of players tried the game. That's not the same thing. Not even close. And here's why that distinction matters. The subscription trap. Millions of players is not the same as millions in profit. One major shift with Shadows was its day one availability on Ubisoft Plus, the company's subscription service. That's where a lot of those millions of players came from. People who paid a monthly fee instead of buying the game outright. This is the same trap we've seen with Xbox Game Pass. A game can hit 3 or 4 million players, but when you dig into actual sales, the numbers tell a different story. A recent example is Hi-Fi Rush, massively popular on Game Pass, yet it struggled with revenue and didn't recoup its development budget through subscriptions alone. It's a flashy number that hides a financial reality. You can have millions of players sampling a game through a $15 subscription, but if they're not purchasing the full $70 product, your revenue tanks. And that's exactly what Ubisoft appears to be dealing with right now. In other words, Ubisoft is counting players, not buyers, which is great for marketing, but terrible for profit. And now we have the financial statements to prove it. Before we move on, if you want to try the latest games without breaking the bank, GameFly lets you rent physical copies and have them delivered right to your door. Click the link in the description to learn more and start your free trial. The financial report, a devastating loss. Ubisoft's fiscal year ended with a brutal financial report. Let's break it down. First, they missed their revenue target by nearly €500 million. That's not a small miss, that's a catastrophic shortfall. Net bookings were down 20.5% year over year, which is essentially the total value of products and services sold during the fiscal period. That includes game sales, microtransactions, DLC, everything. Sales themselves dropped by 17.5%, a number that becomes even more concerning when you consider that this was the year Ubisoft released multiple high-profile titles. Instead of posting a profit, Ubisoft ended the fiscal year with an operating loss of €82 million. That's a massive swing from the €300 million in profit they posted the year before. Their earnings per share came in at a loss of 50 cents, showing investors that not only did the company fail to meet expectations, it actively hemorrhaged money. The market responded instantly. Ubisoft's stock dropped 18% after the report went public. Over the past 12 months, the company's share price has lost nearly 60% of its value. These aren't small fluctuations. They're signs of a company in freefall. And Assassin's Creed Shadows, their supposed savior, was nowhere to be found in the report's success highlights. Comparing Shadows to other releases. If Shadows was the hit Ubisoft claims, it would have been front and center in their report. Just look at how other studios handle success. Starfield, for example, was widely criticized, but Bethesda still shared clear player counts and active user data. They showed off their Steam performance, and pointed to real sales benchmarks. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, a newer release, managed to rack up over 2 million sales even while being available on Game Pass. That's actual success, a game that got people to pay despite being available through subscription. Ubisoft couldn't do that with Shadows, and that tells us everything. They either didn't hit the sales targets, or they don't want us to know how badly it underperformed. Either way, it's not good. Franchise fatigue and brand damage. The bigger question is, what does this mean for Assassin's Creed going forward? Shadows wasn't just another AC game. It was supposed to revitalize the franchise. A new era, a bold new setting, a more grounded, samurai-focused narrative with dual protagonists. All the right ingredients for success. And it failed to deliver the financial impact Ubisoft needed. This is especially alarming when you remember that even during bad years, Ubisoft could count on Assassin's Creed to pull in reliable sales. It was the one constant. If nothing else, AC games were guaranteed hits. But not anymore. Not only did Shadows fail to boost profits, it might have contributed directly to one of the company's worst fiscal years in a decade. Even more worrying, Ubisoft didn't announce any major upcoming titles in the report. No new Far Cry, no Splinter Cell, no Watch Dogs. Prince of Persia was delayed, and everything else is either in early development or missing entirely from their roadmap. This leaves a massive hole in their future release calendar and puts even more pressure on the Assassin's Creed brand to carry them forward, despite clear signs of fatigue and diminishing returns. Tencent Deal, a desperate lifeline? In an effort to stay afloat, Ubisoft struck a major deal with Tencent, forming a joint subsidiary and selling off a 25% stake in the new division. Tencent now holds partial rights to Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six. The deal is reportedly worth over 1.1 billion euros, money Ubisoft desperately needs. But let's be clear, this isn't a sign of growth. It's a sign of survival. Ubisoft is selling off pieces of its most valuable franchises just to keep the lights on. And while the partnership gives them short-term breathing room, it also means they're losing independence over time. They're no longer fully in control of their core properties, and that opens the door for more creative compromise, more monetization pressure, and more missteps. In many ways, this is Ubisoft's Microsoft moment. Except instead of acquiring studios, they're selling off their legacy. Final verdict: did Shadows flop? Let's not sugarcoat it. Assassin's Creed Shadows flopped, at least in the metrics that matter. Yes, millions played it, but millions didn't buy it. Ubisoft lost over 100 million euros despite launching their most hyped game in years. They missed every major financial target, and they've gone completely silent on hard sales data, which is the industry's loudest way of admitting failure. The worst part, this could have been avoided. Ubisoft prioritized subscriptions, microtransactions, and vague player engagement stats over making a compelling game people actually wanted to own. And now they're paying the price. If this is the future of Assassin's Creed, fans should be worried. But what do you think? Did Ubisoft sabotage Shadows with their live service strategy? Or is the franchise simply running out of steam? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to play new games without committing to full price, check out GameFly. You can rent physical games, try them before you buy, and get them shipped right to your door. Hit the link in the description to start your free trial. Like the video if you found this breakdown helpful, subscribe for more gaming deep dives, and I'll see you in the next one.